So our app is working perfectly. Okay, so you can see money is growing and there are things we can do. For instance, if we want to make this number a little bit bigger in terms of the text font, you know how to do that now, right? So you go to main activity or activity.xml. We go to text. In fact, we go to design. We could go to text and change that as well. For instance, here, text size, we can say 34. That save. You can see that it's pretty big. Okay, let's make it a little bit more open there. Very good. Save, and let's go ahead and rerun that. There we go. Very good. So now it's very visible. And the other thing we're going to do here is to move this a little bit right in the middle there. And the cool thing is, let me make this a little bigger so you can see. We can actually use the guideline. You see those dashed lines? So that is our guideline. It tells us exactly where we are. And also notice that I can use interchangeably this view here or this view. It's pretty much the same, right? So I can guide around and make sure to find the middle. And there we go. You can see now this is horizontally aligned, centered. Very good. So save that. We should probably make sure to see that this is actually show tag. It should now be very well aligned in the middle of the screen. Very good. Again, if you can't see, depending on your emulator that created, if you can't see it, just move things around, maybe to the top or a little bit to the bottom, and we'll deal with that at a later time when we talk about making sure that everything shows on the screen independently of the size of the screen. Very good. And the next thing we notice here is that every time we run this app, we notice that the 2000 is showing constantly, right? And that is not good. How about just put 0 there? Well, what we can do, we can go to our text string, because that's where everything is set up. I'm going to just go ahead and take care of this by taking all the zeros. Just have 0 like that. Save. Let's check it out. Now, every time it's going to start at 0. So make, and then it's going to start adding. Okay, very good. So that's looking really good. You can make other changes as you see fit. Now, one last thing we need to do here, notice we have this show tag button. Now, this was not necessary at all. I just wanted to show you another important component of Android development called Toast. What is a Toast? Well, Toast is another class in Android that allows us to show and create small messages that will pop up on the screen to give users some sense that things are happening. Okay, so let's say if you click something and you want to tell the user that they have indeed clicked or that was clicked and there's something that's happening in the background, we usually use a toast. So we're going to go back to our main activity here. So go to our show tag here. I'm going to get rid of this. And here I'm going to create a toast message. A toast message, like I said, is a toast class. So I'm going to have to say toast. There we go. I can straight go and say toast make text like that. And it requires a few things. The first thing that it requires is the context. What is context? We'll talk about context at a later time, okay, with more details. But think of a context as this class in Android that knows everything about how things are being rendered on our screen. So the context will know, for instance, when we put a button on the screen, it will know when we want to pop something out or show on the screen. It will know everything. So it knows how to rearrange everything inside of our user interface and so many other things. Okay, so because a toast is literally a little message that pops out, so it is per se a view, if you will, it will be added to our window. Therefore, anything that is added to our window or anything that deals with Android internals, we have to pass a context to it. Okay? Now, how do we pass a context? Well, in Android, we can just go ahead and say get application context like this. Then we will get our context. And the next thing we need to pass here, of course, is the sequence of the text that we want to show. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and say hello there. And then the last thing is the duration this will show, this message. Because remember, this is supposed to show for a little bit and then fade out. So the duration here, we're going to just use a static class here. I'm going to say toast.length. So it's going to be a duration that we want. So the length could be short or long. I want short, like that. Okay. Once we have created our toast here, we need to show it. I can say dot show. That's very important and easy to forget, right? We may end up writing all of this and finish here and wonder why isn't it showing. We have to call the .show method so that it can show the message. So again, we have to pass the context for the reasons that I've just explained, and of course the text that we want to show. And also we have to pass the duration for the message to show on the screen, all right? Now you notice something here. When I was putting this text here, let's go back down here. If we get rid of this, I'm going to say again, comma, like that. You notice here, we could actually say r dot string dot and get something like app name. That is totally valid. Why is it valid? Well, the strings XML here has all these strings which are resources that we can always access. There are times that we also want to put all these strings, not just for our user interface, in this case, our activity main XML or any other activity main XML that we may have, but also we could create here a string resource that we want to use here, right? So now I want to save this. Let's go ahead and give a quick run. Oh, you saw real quick there. That was actually a toast. So show tag, look at that. Make it rain. It's showing for a few seconds and it's gone. Okay, there we go. As you can see here, it's not a very useful item for this application. It makes no sense, but I just want to show you this new toast class and call the make text, right? Then we pass the context because it's very needed because we're showing something to the screen. And then we pass in a text here. It could be a text that we write ourselves or a text that we put inside of our strings, that XML. And of course, we have to make sure that we say the length for how long it will show and never forget to say .show. All right, folks, very good. So at this point here, we have a working application with this show tag button that shouldn't be there, but at least it made us learn something new there. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to actually make this better. All right, I want you to put an if statement, if you will, inside here that says if this number here, as we go and say make it rain, gets to a certain number, we want to change the color, for instance, of the text. Or we want to put a message here that said, whoa, you're really getting richer. Okay, so you know how to do these things now because you know how to put a text view here, you know how to do if statements, and you also know how to add things to our text views dynamically. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Do all the things that you want to do, but one thing I want you to do is to make it so that it shows a message or just change the color dynamically of this text here, the money, when it gets to 10,000 or even 50,000, whichever number you want, so that it gives a visual cue to the user that indeed they are making a lot of money. Wonderful. I know you can do this. I'll see you in the next video.